Hello there, jury. Welcome to the very first episode of the Only Slightly Judgy podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Aiden. He's Sean. We're your local cinema podcast where we obsess over all things fiction and media related. Um, this is something that I've been wanting to get off the ground for quite a while, and my co-host here is a fellow film enthusiast. So I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to, finally start this kind of discussion podcast, let's rant about films kind of thing.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. It's like I'm the complete opposite, where it's like this is not something I would have ever thought of starting to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's like for all the ranting and rambling that I do about films and other media, like text is usually my preferred format, so this is all rather new to me.
Yeah, but we'll figure it out as we go. So this first
Yep,
episode,
one way.
this first episode is just gonna be, just kind of knowing a bit more about us, what kind of stuff we like to watch, what things we like to look out for, and yeah. And I think the best way to do that is to talk about like 5 of our favorite projects. Um,
Yep.
these will be in like no particular order, obviously. But yeah, Sean, you wanna start it off?
Oh, okay, yeah, sure. No particular order. The first one we're gonna go with, like, let's cheat a little bit, and we'll say that like one of my favorite projects is the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy lumped into one.
Yes.
That is, it's like, what can you say about Lord of the Rings? Timeless classic, like, from top to bottom, just as close to perfect as you can go. Where it's like, it's probably the defining fantasy book and also like
Yes.
fantasy movie. Yeah,
I will go
like
so far as to say arguably one of the best, if not the best, film trilogy to
ever made.
grace our
Like,
screens. Maybe not best,
from what
but definitely one of the best.
I would agree, it's like it's up there for sure.
I
And
would
I'll say
say
like,
top 3.
yeah, Lord of the Rings is unique in a way where, in terms of like media in general, where it's not nearly as prevalent of a household name as something like Marvel, Star Wars, even like Harry Potter.
Yeah.
But it is at a place where like people who love Lord of the Rings were absolutely obsessed over Lord of the Rings, and they can quote lines, they can remember
Yeah.
scenes, they can sing the music like from memory. It's just that level of like fandom obsession.
Yeah, exactly. AKA we are better versions of Potterheads. So
I would absolutely agree. It's like Lord of the Rings fans will absolutely catch like the most obscure reference in like completely unrelated media. It's like, oh, that's my thing.
like, of course, like everyone knows Viggo Mortensen broke his toe and like it let out
Yeah,
an actual scream of pain, and Peter Jackson decided to keep it in.
yeah. There's just like so many examples of that. Like, would you say you have a favorite out of the three?
I'm very impartial to Return of the King. I think that's just not only is it like the final perfect layer of on top of like Fellowship and Two Towers. I had I just love Aragorn. Aragorn is like my favorite character ever. He's so good.
Yeah, Return of the King. Yeah, that's a pretty good choice. It's like one of the rare trilogy enders where it's like the epilogue just goes on, and I do not want it to stop.
Yes,
Like,
yeah.
often they run into this problem where it's like it's close to ending, you think it's gonna black screen, then it cuts to something else. But Return of the King is the one that I would say like I want to keep watching it like on and on.
Yeah.
But personally, my favorite has to be the Two Towers,
Mm.
just because just because of the fact that most trilogies have a very weak second movie
Yeah.
where it just feels like they're bridging a gap from the first one to the third one. But the Two Towers completely avoids that by introducing many of like completely new elements at that point of the story. You have like Rohan, you have like Theoden, and like all the characters
Yeah.
there. You have
The
the
Witch
Ents,
King.
the, yeah, the Witch King, and you have like Isengard. I feel like those are like biased obviously, but those are my favorite parts of that world, and the
Yeah.
fact that they're all introduced and then they like wrap it up with the Battle of Helm's Deep all in just the second movie. It's like such a perfect setup while
Yes.
also feeling complete on its own. Yeah, I love it.
Battle of Helm's Deep, I think, will go down as one of the greatest cinematic pieces in history, set pieces in history.
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it for me.
All right. One of my favorites is Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Now, if you've not heard of this, I don't blame you. Um, it is, I guess you could classify it as a cult classic. But I think it's so much more than that. I've loved Scott Pilgrim from my first watch. Directed by Edgar Wright. I think it just has this very unique flavor of style that was so ahead of its time, which is probably why it wasn't well received when it first released. Um, but yeah, I think it's made in such well taste and something that's so and it's such a good adaptation as well from its original source material. And I love that the cast is amazing and every single line of dialogue is so iconic in that movie.
At this point, it's probably surpassed like cult classic and gone
Yeah,
into just like the Hall of Fame. Yeah.
for real. That's my Hall of Fame. Scott Pilgrim at the top. Yeah, for sure.
Mm, anything else to add?
No, you can go.
My second pick is a very basic one as well. It is Christopher Nolan's Interstellar.
Yes.
Just a science fiction masterpiece from start to finish, and also one of the most iconic in its genre. And that's saying a lot considering like the amount of great sci-fi we have had
Yeah.
over the last 2 decades. But it just has such a special place in my heart, where it is like one of the first non-franchise movies that I watched, and it really got me hooked onto this, like just like watching movies in general,
Yeah.
where you have like sweeping score, it's like these big epic visuals on such a big scale, and it's like you also have obviously the score Hans Zimmer
Oh,
is like that's one of my go-to like study playlists where it just
yes.
starts off slow, it builds up, and it gets you so hyped in the middle.
Cornfield Chase might be like the pinnacle of of my life soundtrack.
Oh, I usually say it's mountains. Just the
Oh,
fact that like
mountains. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the ticking in the background goes faster and faster. It's just so fun. And
Exactly. Like I always
yeah,
love how Nolan always pushes the boundaries of sci-fi. Honestly, it's more fiction than science, but
yeah, yeah. Whether it's like real science fiction is debatable, but then like just in that genre, I might as well consider it.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's just so
I
well
mean,
made.
yeah, I really regret not being able to see it in the cinemas though. Even when they did the
Hmm.
re-release, like 1 or 2 years ago, I was unfortunately busy, and it's like I really hope they do that again.
I did watch it in the cinema. I remember watching it in the cinema, but I think I was like 9 when it released, so I did not understand anything that was going on. I recently did rewatch it this year, and it was very very good. It was obviously I understand things now, but yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
For me, next one is gonna be an oldie but a goodie. It's 1982's The Thing. Um, this came out. Yeah, obviously this came out in 1982. We don't talk about the remake of The Thing that is terrible. But this is the original one with Kurt Russell. Um, yeah, and I think this is a subsection of the horror genre that I just really love. For me, when it comes to horror, I don't quite love it. Being a coward is only 20% of the reason. The other 80% is because I think the majority of horror is played for adrenaline junkies and like cheap scares and things like that. So, and the rest of them, some of them are just too creepy to watch. So, yeah, I really appreciate The Thing in its kind of horror-y yet very mystery element to it. So I really like that. Also body horror. I love body horror. As you can see with, I think I talked to you about my obsession with The Substance that came out last year. Yeah, it was just amazing. So yeah, The Thing is such a good movie. If you have not checked it out, go ahead.
I'm just gonna say that I in fact have not like I'm
Oh
not
really?
a
You
horror
haven't?
person. Yeah, I haven't.
Oh okay.
I'm not a horror person either, and it's like obviously I'm aware of it, like the degree of like cult classic has reached,
Yep.
but I haven't been like itching to check it out just because I don't usually like horror. But with your recommendation, I feel like I probably will.
Hell yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Mm,
Next one for you.
my third one is gonna be Wes Anderson's The Grand Budapest Hotel.
Ah.
I would say if I had a comfort film, this would be the one. Like Wes Anderson obviously is extremely famous among like the film circle for his use of like very saturated color grading and also
Yes.
like the symmetry in all his shots. Like that's probably what he's famous for. And it's like Grand Budapest Hotel is like such a good example of that, possibly the pinnacle of his style, where he is able to blend like so much heart but also action and even comedy
Yep.
all into one. And the product is really heartwarming. It is. How do you say this? It's like for such a ridiculous story and premise, it ends up being so human, and I love it a lot. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, I I actually have not seen Grand Budapest Hotel, to my own surprise. Um, Something I will definitely check out soon. But I think like Wes Anderson is just one of those visionary directors. That's just he just turns out a masterclass every single time.
Yeah, it's like you just have to let him do like you have to let him take the reins, and he's just gonna like turn out
Yeah,
what
like
he has
his
visualized
creative
in like
vision is insane.
God's glory. Yeah. Do you know the premise of Grand Budapest Hotel?
I don't actually. Could you tell me?
Oh, it's like there's this like I guess fancy hotel where Ralph Fiennes
Ralph Fiennes.
Ralph Fiennes is like
Is he the
I'm pretty sure
manager?
I guess you call him the manager. I forgot what the term they use, but he's a manager of a hotel, and it's like one of his rich clients, like a lady, like, has like passed away,
Mm.
and it's like he's caught up between her like inheritances because like they were really close, and like
Yeah.
he's caught up between the inheritance with like a rich douchebag family, and also
Ah.
there's like a young recruit that he's training called Zero. That's like
Right.
the lobby boy
Yeah.
who's also dragged into all this as well. And it's just like such a fun like romp around like yeah.
Yeah. That sounds so good. That sounds really, and then especially with Wes Anderson behind it. Yeah. I will glaze Wes Anderson to oblivion. My next one is an animated classic. I felt like I have to include an animation in here, and it's one of my favorite animated movies. Is Rango, played by Johnny Depp. It is such a good movie. It's so original. It's so creative as well. Like it's something like especially that animation style you don't really see anymore. Um, I think Rango is a thing of like endless time, in which like no matter what period that you're in, no matter what time you're in, like it'll always be good. It'll always hit the correct spots because it's the same level of comedy, adventure, and confusion as well. Like Rango is one of those projects where you're like, where at some point you're like, what is going on? But in a good way. I'm not sure. For lack of a better explanation, it's like you're confused at where it's going, but you're intrigued. You know, you're still intrigued by it, and I think Rango does the whole hero's journey thing incredibly well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. And my fourth one, this spot is it's like I'm choosing between two, but I'll say like this spot goes to David Fincher's Seven from
Classic.
from way back. It's like more accurately it is SE7EN, but we don't talk about that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's like it's one of my favorites as well because of it just has such a clear, straightforward story structure where
Yep.
you're unraveling the mystery and like as it progresses along the seven deadly sins, the story starts to ramp up.
Yep.
And it has like amazing performances from Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman, of course.
Yes.
And where it's like these two characters are like their relationship drives the story forward as much as the plot that's happening around them.
Yep.
And yeah, it just has such a great like down to earth, gritty sort of vibe that they give the whole city, and it just turns into like such an interesting watch.
Yeah. I think other than if you put aside Fight Club, I think Seven is probably Brad Pitt's best performance. Like
I
I
think I would
I
agree with
don't
you.
see any other movie where he acts that way. Like his acting in Seven is so good.
Yeah,
Like
and it's
if
like
you're
I
putting
was actually
aside the obvious
debating.
elephant of like Fight Club, obviously.
Yeah, I was debating between Fight Club and Seven for this spot actually, but I
Right.
feel like Fight Club past the second watch, it gets a bit tainted by the fact that you go in knowing the twist already. And it's like the
Right.
first watch, obviously, completely fresh, hopefully. And the second watch, you start to catch little details. But by the third watch, like, in my experience, it doesn't feel as fresh anymore. Whereas 7 doesn't have that problem because the ending is surprising, but not a twist.
Yeah. So it's such a solid movie. And I mean,
Yeah.
Morgan Freeman, you can't go wrong with him. Next one for me is a more recent one, probably within the last the last 10 years. Is The Gentleman. The Gentleman, if you are not aware, is a British gangster movie about the drug trade in London. Directed by Guy Ritchie, which it's kind of his genre, so it's something that I always expect from him. But The Gentleman is so unique in the aspect of writing. It's so twisting and turning, and like it has multiple worlds going on at the same time, and then they all just go crashing into each other. And that is something that I just love. Like if I could describe this movie with a metaphor, it would be like the story is like a cascading waterfall where it just kind of like goes into itself and just continues flowing in that very smooth like story structure that The Gentleman has. Also incredibly stacked cast: Matthew McConaughey, Hugh Grant, Charlie Hunnam, all of these people, amazing guys, amazing movie, amazing acting.
For my fifth and final one out of my favorite movies, it has to go to Pacific Rim.
Yes.
Like in 2013 or 14, Guillermo del Toro. Obviously, it's like such a big departure from what del Toro is known for. But Pacific Rim is one of those where it's like, how could I not love this? It's like,
Yeah.
is there plot? Is there character development? Yeah, I guess barely. But do big robots punch big aliens? Yeah, absolutely. And it's just like,
Yeah.
no, go on.
No, I was just gonna say, who cares about plot and characters when I can see big robot punch big monster? Like,
Yeah. It's like
life is good.
my inner child is so satisfied. There's nothing like you can never convince me that Pacific Rim is like a mediocre movie at all. It's like you have like Gypsy Danger using like the boat as a baseball bat. You
Yeah.
have like the giant laser sword. You have the canceling the apocalypse speech. All that is just like
You
yeah.
know what's something I will say about Pacific Rim is that it's unique in the sense that it's a movie about aliens, right? But I think it's one of the few that came out around this time that were like, hey, aliens don't come from space, they come from a portal in our ocean, and like they're coming
Yeah,
from
I guess.
underground. Like I thought that
Like,
was super unique.
groundbreaking.
Yeah,
Groundbreaking.
groundbreaking, literally.
Yeah. And yeah, it is also important to note that like for like such an amazing film that it is, it has never received a sequel and never will.
I feel I okay. I'm adding this to my hot takes later, but I will leave that for later. Okay. Anything else to say about Pacific Rim?
Nope. It's just that if you haven't, watch it, turn off your brain, sit down for 2 hours, and you will come out of it thanking me for it.
Exactly. Last one for me is going to be A Big Bold Beautiful Journey. This is something that came out 2 months ago as of recording. It is so my thing about romance movies in general is that I think every romance trope has been done to oblivion. So I want to see like new stuff, but unfortunately it's like the same thing over and over again. Like I don't think you can replicate like those those classic romance movies like When Harry Met Sally, and I can't think of anything else right now.
Before Trilogy, before Sunset, etc., etc.
Yeah. Have you seen Me Before You?
No, actually.
Oh, it's the one with Emilia Clarke, and she's taking care of like a disabled guy, a rich disabled guy. But yeah, like I feel like romance tropes in general have been done. What A Big Bold Beautiful Journey does is it takes elements from different tropes and puts them together until you get this just amalgamation of different romantic tropes which works somehow. Like I think at some point, especially with romance movies nowadays, I think a lot of people get bored in between them. Um, this one I've clutched onto every single line of dialogue that was said. Like it's just so well written and so well thought through that I just have to give it its kudos. It's so insanely good. It's better than I don't know, A24's Materialist that came out this year. Like it's such a solid romance movie and it's so good. And I'm so happy that it's not another We Live in Time, which I was so scared that it's going to be. We can have a whole another episode on why We Live in Time is terrible. But yeah, that's A Big Bold Beautiful Journey. Colin Farrell and Margot Robbie. Please go watch it. It's gonna go under a lot of people's radars, but if you haven't seen it, go see it. It's so good.
About Big Bold Beautiful Journey, I actually saw the trailer before one of the other indie movies this year
Yep.
in like the cinema, and it's like after the trailer finished playing, I remember thinking like this is honestly, it looks pretty underwhelming from what they showed, where it's like I'm not sure I'm gonna be like in a rush to see it, and it's like it's honestly very rare for me to watch a brand new trailer that I've never seen before on the
Yeah.
big screen and still like feel like pretty like average about it. But like after you recommended it, I'll probably go check it out.
Yeah, for sure. Yep, that's our 5 favorites. Might tell you a bit about our characters and what we like to see. We're gonna move on to a segment that we like to call Hot Take Fight Club. This is where we'll, discuss a couple of hot takes we have, and perhaps in the future, with a Google form, you guys can submit your hot takes, and we can talk about those too. I'm gonna go first. This is gonna be relating to what we talked about before, about how you said Pacific Rim never received a sequel. I am one of the very small minority of people that actually love Pacific Rim 2. For no reason, like, there are tons and tons of plot holes, and character developments don't make sense, and I don't, and sometimes you don't understand why people the way that they are and why they are there. But if you do what you said before, and it's a turn your brain off, look at big robot fight, punch big monster, Pacific Rim 2 is amazing, and it's so good. It's Jurassic Park logic, where you're like, I want to sit back in my chair and watch dinosaurs run at people. I don't need character development, right? It's, for me, it's that same logic. So I think the hate on Pacific Rim 2 is like too much.
I would have to like heavily disagree with you, and it's not even like that I was aware of the discourse. Like I wasn't at all. Like that was a time I watched it at a time where like I wasn't even going through like forums or looking at like comments
Yeah.
and stuff. And I just thought like I watched it shortly after Pacific Rim, like the first one. I watched them both together, and I thought like it is such a departure from the style and tone and vibe that they set up in the first one, where it's like it's just you could call it a nitpick, but then like in the first one, like every time they deploy the robots and like it's like on sea or on land or whatever, like you can feel every step, even not even in the cinema, like through my laptop, you could feel like every step of the robot's feet on the earth,
Right.
like through the waves. When it's like in the second end, the robots are just like running across like cityscapes like it's nothing. And it's like it took me out of it. It took me out of it so much. Second
Skating
end,
across the snow.
yeah, it's like they would walk and the background would just be they'll like run and the background would just be static. And it's like that was at the age where like, I could easily turn my brain off also, but it's like even then it still took me out a bit. But it's
like just the realism aspect of it.
I guess it's like the first one was great because like it was so weighty when you had like
Yeah.
action and it was you could feel like every impact of it. The second one for me, yeah, it's like I would say that there are good concepts there, like the one robot that rolls into like a ball, and
Yes.
the group that like or just through like the scrap metal and like tries to make something,
Yeah.
and also the stuff they did with like the scientists, I thought was fun also, but the rest just took me out completely, man. I'm sorry.
I will admit the whole like Charlie Day's character with him drifting with the kaiju, like his entire antagonist part of that film is the goofiest thing I've ever seen in my life. It's so funny, But yeah, I'm a simple man. I just like big robot punch big monster. So yeah.
Personally, I do not excuse it for like completely switching up like the tone and like the visual style also. Where it's like it's too, in a way it feels too like it feels too clean. Like
Right.
obviously because at the time the robots were all new and like futuristic technology and stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
But then it's like it doesn't have the same weight and grit that the person has.
yeah. All right. Cool. You got a hot take?
My hot take will be also a blasphemous one, where I'll say that like the Nolan Batman trilogy has not aged well at all. Where like to be clear, we're talking about like Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises, the 2010s Batman trilogy that
Right.
Christopher Nolan made. Yeah, I would say like it has not aged well at all in terms of like not acting, not writing, but rather like set design, visuals, like even props and the way they translate some of the elements, like comic elements, like the vehicles, the locations, like suits, I guess, all of that doesn't translate wasn't translated well to the big screen. And it's just a
Mm.
pretty mediocre Batman movie.
No, you say blasphemous, but this is one I entirely agree with you on. Like, the problem, like, we like no the Nolan Batman movies, right? It's like they're good movies, and the performances are really good, but Christian Bale's Batman just doesn't work for me. It, especially the suit. It's so plasticky. It's so bad.
Yeah, the suit is like such an obvious victim of the 2000s thing where it's like
Yeah.
all the superhero suits have to feel like I guess realistic or something, where you have like Fox
Mm.
X-Men as well with all the leathery and like metallic plastic sort of detailing where it's like it's just a bit too much at times.
Yeah. Like, again, like, I get Batman is meant to be a bit darker, but again, I think this is an effect of a superhero movie that's scared to be a superhero movie. Right?
Yeah.
Like what you said about the set design, like I completely agree. It feels more like a Chicago, New York allegory than it does actual Gotham. Like I am not convinced that that's Gotham.
Yeah, it's like one big thing that separates Marvel and DC is that, like, unlike Marvel, DC has like their own cities, their own
Yeah.
settings. The most famous stories take place, and Gotham is absolutely not one of the cities that you can swap out some landmarks and call it a day. It has to feel like its own thing. It has to feel like lived in. Like it has to feel like the sort of setting where like you have told me before, like Crime Alley would exist, and also like
Yes.
all these
Yes.
cycles exist in the same city that your like ultra rich billionaires exist in also.
Yeah.
It's like it has to feel that way.
It needs to be a city like one where the ultra rich can live. Number two, where you could imagine that there are tons of crazy people and like all these cycles around. And number three, that is a place that realistically spawns Batman. So yeah, I entirely agree with you on this one.
Yeah, it's like they like obviously the writing, acting phenomenal. You have Heath Ledger, and then the
Oh
fact that they
yes.
lost Heath Ledger unexpectedly, like tragic. But then like you can really tell that that hurt the quality of Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, that's fair. Like, but I will say Tom Hardy Bane is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
We can go into that next time.
Okay.
Do you have another hot take for us?
Sure. Um, in the instance where the Marvel Cinematic Universe is at right now, we have gotten announcements of Avengers Doomsday, and as well as after that to be Avengers Secret Wars. Now, it's not so much of a rumor as it is something that, as it is a direction that they are playing through, is that they want Secret Wars to be the reboot that Secret Wars is, you know. So, and they want to like start over, use new people, introduce new characters, because Marvel is in a time where they are secure with the characters that they have. You know, back then, like the 2000s, Marvel didn't have money to make their movies, so they had to sell off their IPs. They had to sell X-Men, they had to sell Spider-Man, they had to sell the Fantastic Four. But now they have two out of the three that I just mentioned. They have those back, and then they want a fresh start, which I can understand. However, knowing the amount of unique moving pieces that Secret Wars needs to be able to function properly and satisfactorily, therefore I'm a believer that Marvel shouldn't rush the reboot. They should take their time planting the pieces so that they can do Secret Wars well, so that it feels like the reboot is deserved.
It's like I'll completely agree with this also. Like insofar as that before this, I actually wasn't like I hadn't heard official confirmation that they were doing a reboot. But if it is true, then it feels like a bit of strange timing for them to do that.
Yeah, I get that with the new Fantastic Four and
Like,
everything.
yeah, you mentioned that they did just introduce like some of their most iconic IPs back, and also like Fantastic Four. Obviously, they have like such an all-star cast for the Fantastic Four
Yeah,
that
yeah,
there's no way they're gonna be willing to like sacrifice that for a reboot so soon.
yeah. I think that's fair. Um,
Yeah.
but I think regardless, I think Marvel is moving too fast. Like, I think this is just a general post Endgame thing. It's because they need to like, we need to release this, we need to release that, da 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 da. Like, I don't like. Okay, the easy answer behind the question of I don't understand why they are moving so fast. The easy answer is money, right? but I think that there was not really a reason to really go that fast, because especially after Endgame, the the audiences was in need of something that would like help them slow down, and then you can like introduce new things, like Loki, like Moon Knight. All of these things are so separate from Endgame. I mean, not that separate, but separate in terms of the fact that they are successful independently. Therefore, it's just a shame that they rushed everything as Marvel does.
Yeah, I guess like you have a pretty sad situation where it's like they did do like solid work building up some of their characters that they wanted to focus on, but all of a sudden they got like Fox back, and so it's like
Yeah,
the allegory of like the children playing with action figures. Like now he suddenly has like double the amount of action figures and also his favorite childhood action figures, and he's gonna want to use them right away. We
yeah,
see that with like X-Men, like Professor X being in Doctor Strange, and obviously Deadpool and Wolverine, where it's like I feel like the weight of those cameos really it hinges on the fact that like, they assume their audience is already invested in the Fox X-Men
yeah.
instead of like following their own formula and making audiences care about these like quote unquote new characters 1st.
It's the same mistake that the DCEU made, right? It's like, oh, we have all of these things. We need to do this now. We want to do this now so that we can have all of these things together, and then it'll be really cool. And they made a
Yeah,
mistake of rushing that, and therefore it
yeah.
died.
And we all know how that turned out.
Yeah,
It's like yeah, as much as I like DC more than Marvel, I also don't want Marvel to fall down that route.
yeah,
Where it's like they suddenly chicken out because of I guess backlash and also like profitability of
yeah.
their new cast. And before they have their legs back, they want to rush something that like their formula tells them will succeed.
Yeah. I think they've succeeded and built up and built too much for it to come crashing down in this way. And it's really sad to see it this way.
It's like yeah, like you said, like Secret Wars obviously has a lot of different elements that are completely foreign to like general audiences that only watch the MCU movies.
Yeah. Like for Secret Wars to work, like even if you're doing something that's different than what happened in Secret Wars and something that's Doom centric, right? But you still need players like Miles Morales and like the Maker and Owen Reese Molecule Man in order for the Secret War story to be driven in that direction. I mean, insofar as you're moving another direction, I guess I have nothing to say about that. But I guess that's why I'm really scared for Secret Wars, because it's like I don't know what they're going to do, because they don't have the pieces.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like they fumbled their multiverse storytelling, and they also don't have a strong cosmic side other than Guardians. So it's like it's really interesting to see. And like I guess I'm curious too to see like what they will use to compromise for it.
Yeah, for sure. You got another one?
Mm, yeah, my second hot take is that The Last Jedi is by far like the least problematic part of the sequels. Where it's like if you want anything to blame for how the Star Wars sequels turn out, you should look anywhere other than The Last Jedi. Any thoughts?
Uh, I really, 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 really don't like The Last Jedi. The whole Rey and Kylo thing is, yeah, I don't know, it just doesn't really work for me. Um, Ryan Johnson. Okay, after the Knives Out movies that came out after the Last Jedi, Ryan Johnson has redeemed himself in my eyes, and I actually have an opinion on like why Last Jedi didn't work out. So you can see it very clearly with the Knives Out movies is that Ryan Johnson has a very ambitious creative vision, right? So he needs his own creative space in order to make his creative vision work, right? How and which is why Knives Out does so well. However, when you put him in something like The Last Jedi and you put him with beloved IP, beloved worlds, beloved characters, and you let him do the creative vision that he wants to do, which is obviously something you should let the director do, but when you do it with characters that people love and grew up seeing, and then you use them in a way that kind of butchers them, like for lack of a better word, it just didn't work out. And I by no means do, and currently I do not think that is entirely his fault.
I would say like I definitely agree that like Ryan Johnson is just this like he has a singular vision
Yeah,
and he is going to achieve it. So it's like when you put him in the confines of like such a huge franchise, obviously he has like pressure from the studio,
yeah,
he has pressure from I guess the fans, and it's just like obviously like the whole fault of the sequel trilogy, as we can probably agree on, is like the lack of prior planning, and
yeah.
he's just been like shoved in to work out the mess that J.J. Abrams started.
JJ.
And yeah, I guess that like for all its faults, The Last Jedi it has a special place in my heart because it's just creative. It goes
Yeah,
to
yeah,
places
I can
that
give it that. Yeah, for sure.
yeah, a huge franchise to go. And I guess like a common argument you could say like if like Star Wars The Last Jedi, you took it and you changed the characters' names and you turn it into like Space Wars The Last Wizard, suddenly you have like an
Actually,
incredible
yeah,
movie.
yeah. That's totally fair. That's totally
Yeah,
fair.
with zero baggage, it's like such a unique story, it's creative, the visuals amazing. So it's like with no baggage, it could be an incredible movie.
If Ryan Johnson did what Zack Snyder did and threw a baby tantrum that he didn't get his movie produced, and if he went to Netflix instead and produced Space Wars, the Last Wizard, I actually think that would do very well,
Yeah.
right?
And it's like it's not even nostalgia speaking. Like Force Awakens was the first movie I ever watched in the cinema, so like it has a special place in my heart for that. But like I went and watched all of them like again during like MCO after watching episodes 1 to 6. And I feel like the one that sticks out like a sore thumb is not it is in fact 9, Rise of Skywalker.
Yes, it's just terrible. There's nothing good
Yeah.
about that.
We could probably do a whole episode just like ranting off this, but like yeah, that's
Something
my hot take.
I will also add about The Last Jedi. The fight with Kylo and Rey versus the Red Guard is terrible. It's such a
It is.
I for me I think that's a terrible sequence. Like things don't make the cuts and the editing of that scene just don't make sense. Like just the choreography in general. But that's my 2 cents, right? We can have a Star
To be
Wars
fair, it's like
episode.
yeah, to be fair, like just a bit like that is not one of the scenes that it's like one of my highlights. I would say like the best parts of the movie are very very hot take the parts with involving Luke, and also the parts involving like the Resistance and First Order with like the stupid ridiculous like hyperspace cut.
Oh, yeah. Again, if that was in its own, if that kind of scene was in its own space out of Star Wars IP, I think it would work very well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just my 2 cents.
Okay, our TLDR, just don't watch the sequels. Yeah. Um. Another hot take of mine is that I am an apologist of the Pixar COVID era. So this is the era of the pandemic where Pixar released all these movies. Obviously, they couldn't release them in cinemas, so they were received badly. And not just that, but a lot of people didn't like it. Not just the animation itself, but the kind of stories. Put simply, I think these projects are overhated. By no means are they good, but by no means are they trash. Like, I think they're fine, right? It's things. If you don't know, this era includes movies like Soul, Turning Red, Luca, Lightyear, Elemental. These films specifically. Any thoughts?
I would agree with you. It's like out of the ones that I mentioned, the only one I haven't watched is Lightyear, and for the rest, I would agree with you.
Yeah.
Obviously, like the sheer amount of hate it was receiving, part of it can be attributed to the fact that it was like COVID, and
Yeah.
no one had anything better to do. So like a lot of that was just poured into like online hate. But like I really do love, especially Soul. I would say Soul
Yes.
is like
It's
it's my
definitely the
favorite
best out of
Pixar
the
movie.
bunch.
Yeah, from there, and it's also my favorite Pixar movie in I'll say since Coco. Coco is my other favorite, but like after that, I think Soul is absolutely the best one of them.
Yeah.
It's like so far out of left field for Pixar, but it's also amazing. I'll defend it to
Yeah.
death.
Is also appreciation of like just the black culture in general. Like the black apparently according to people from black culture, Soul was very good at portraying black culture. So I can commend it for that. I mean, I can't personally speak to that experience, but
Yeah, we can. Yeah,
I think Soul was just such a good movie when
yeah.
it
It's
comes.
just such
Yeah.
a love letter to like music in general, while
Yeah.
also doing its own thing with like the like, meaning of life type of thing that they're going for. I think it's amazing.
Yeah. I think Soul is Inside Out for adults. Like, not to say Inside Out doesn't resonate with adults. It definitely does. But like Soul is definitely the more mature older cousin of Inside Out, which I really like.
Yeah. As for the rest of the the Pixar COVID catalog, I think I would be inclined to agree. Like all of them are at the very least decent. I
Yeah.
would say the weakest one is for me Elemental, but even
Mm.
that is at least watchable.
Yeah. Like like Pixar is always doing the thing where they like Pixar movies always have an underlying theme to them or like a message to them. I think I like Elemental for the sole reason that it is a very good telling of the immigrant story, and it is very much ingrained in that immigrants finding their identity and their place in the world, in the society that they've moved into, that kind of story. I think that's what I really praise Elemental for. Probably the only thing I praise Elemental for, which does make it a solid watch. But yeah, if you call Turning Red cringe, you missed the entire point of Turning Red. The whole point of Turning Red that it is a movie about preteens. If you call Turning Red cringe, you just didn't get it. That's just my opinion. Yeah. Let's move on. Next hot take. Anything from you?
In fact, nothing at the moment.
Oh, okay. I have one more that we can probably talk about. Is that I think The Wolf of Wall Street is one of the worst movies I have ever seen in my life. And not just that. And while that may be subjective, I think generally The Wolf of Wall Street is a bad showing of a biopic in terms of the biopic genre, in terms of its dramatization. Simply put, I think when it comes to biopics, right, and making a movie about someone or something that happened like historically, there's obviously going to be dramatization. Definitely, you can't avoid that, right? But the amount of absurdity that I witnessed in Wolf of Wall Street was too much. It's so overwhelming is not the correct word. It's not only am I overstimulated, but I'm also like, why? What was the point of these scenes? What was the point of like that line of the way that the script is written? Like, it didn't narratively make sense, and also like it is just a bad entrance of a biopic for me.
I actually have very little to say about this because I unfortunately have not watched Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh, okay.
Like, obviously I know about it, like praise for like Leo and like some of the
Yeah.
other supporting actors, but like it's just one that I have not really been. It's one of the, like, I guess people call it a classic, but it's one of those where I'm not really really interested to check it out.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
that
yeah.
makes sense.
That's fair.
Yeah, like the what little I know just doesn't seem that appealing to me. So I have nothing to say about this.
Yeah, that's fine. Like I think just for me, like you said about like praise for Leo, right? As much as the script is absurd and it has weird things in it, I think the acting is phenomenal. I will say that. The like every single like Leo is really just one of those actors that just goes all in on one role, and yeah, it works. Like the performances work. It's just that it's just a terror. I just really hate it. I hate Wolf of Wall Street both as a biopic for those reasons and as a movie about the financial world, because all it teaches the general audience is that Wall Street is money, sex, and drugs, which frankly is not entirely false, but it's not the most true thing either, right? I think there are much better alternative movies out there like Dumb Money and these situations. Like what was the other one that I was thinking of? Yeah, The Big Short as well. The Big Short is an incredible movie. But yeah, there's so many better movies about like the financial world and things like that. Like Wolf of Wall Street is not it for me. Yeah. You got anything else to add?
No, not actually. Like we might come back to this eventually, but at
Yeah.
the moment, no.
Yeah. We'll come back to this when we have more hot takes, hopefully from you guys. If that's it, that's gonna be it for our episode 1. Thank you so much for watching and tuning in. If you like, please do all the normal YouTube things, like, subscribe. Stay tuned for way more episodes. We have a lot of cool stuff planned and we can't wait for you guys to be part of it. There's also a Google form in the description where you can put in your hot takes, where you can be a part of our podcast, and we can probably discuss these hot takes as well. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
Hi, thanks for listening.